Hello, this is Richard Skipper, and once again, welcome to Richard Skipper Presents. It's hard to believe that another August is coming on in our lives, and what an August this has been here in New York. Earlier this month, we had actually an earthquake tremor in New York, and this past weekend, we had the threat of one of the largest hurricanes to hit New York City in many, many years. But thank God, the damage was not as extensive as they were predicting, and we can all sleep a little bit better tonight knowing that. I'd like to thank all of you who have joined me in my blogs this month, and I've enjoyed doing these video blogs also. And today's question was presented to me by Stephan Artis. Not only did he come up with a great question, but he also came up with the premise of today's blog, which I will talk about in a few moments. But he asked me if I could have the dinner party of my choice, and if I could invite anyone that I wanted to invite, either living or dead, who would I invite and why? And I thought about this last night, and I was thinking, wouldn't it be great to have a dinner party and invite all of the powers that be who over the years have contributed to Hello Dolly? For example, Thornton Wilder, who wrote the original Merchant of Yonkers, which eventually became The Matchmaker, which became, in turn, Hello Dolly. I would like to invite Thornton Wilder. I would love to have Jerry Herman. I would love to have David Merrick at a table. Can you imagine what those dinner conversations would have been like? But imagine Carol Channing and Ginger Rogers and Betty Grable and Bebe Osterwald and Phyllis Diller and Martha Raye and Pearl Bailey and Mary Martin and even Barbra Streisand, all sitting at the same dinner table discussing what it was like doing Hello Dolly during one of the most important times in New York history and in the history of the world. When Hello Dolly opened in 1964 at the St. James Theater, we had just gone through the assassination of John Kennedy a few months prior to that, and the world was in mourning. And I think that part of the success of Hello Dolly really came out of the fact that we needed something a little bit more uplifting and a little bit brighter. And I think even in today's world, that having something frivolous and fun and marvelous on Broadway would be the way to go. But sitting at this dinner table, once again, would be all of these great ladies who have contributed to this role. You know, it was interesting because just this past year, I had the opportunity of going to Palm Springs and spending a little time at Carol Channing's home. And sitting in Carol Channing's house and seeing the pictures on the wall of all of the people that she has known over the years. I mean, we're talking about the history of the 20th century, which are right there on her walls. I mean, you've got world leaders, you've got all the presidents, you've got royalty, the Queen of England, even Miss Piggy, all of these people. And as Carol has said, when you become that famous, or if you are lucky enough to have a hit Broadway show, or in her case, 2 hit Broadway shows, then the world actually comes through your door. And then I think of Ginger Rogers and the contributions that Ginger Rogers has made not only to film, but to stage as well. And of course she went on to London to do the production of Mame, and she did a wonderful production there. And then there's Betty Grable, who unfortunately died of cancer. She died much too soon. And then Bebe Osterwald, who understudied all of these women through almost the entire run of Hello Dolly. And I read the other day, I think she went on 225 times during that whole period. So she also does have the distinction of being one of the famous dollies on Broadway, although her name is not as well known as the others. Then there's Carol Cook, who did the Australian company of Hello Dolly. And I think that, unfortunately, because Carol Cook did not do it in the United States, she sometimes gets overlooked when people are thinking about the historical context of all of the actresses who played the role. Now, we are winding up our time here, but I'd like to thank you all once again for joining me. And I'd like to remind you to please sign the Carol Channing petition on my website, www.richardskipper, to ensure that she wins the 2011 Kennedy Center honor. Now I want you to sit back and enjoy a mini day on my website and on my blog.